Frank Seidman, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. How you doing, Carl?
Dude, I'm just glad I got through your publicist and was able to get this booked on your busy calendar. So where you at, man?
You offered enough money, so
Yeah, that's how it worked. There's an old saying, Frank, if you have a problem and you can write a check to solve that problem, you don't have a problem.
I
Right?
love it.
I like that. So where you at, man?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So Lost Day. Are you native?
No, no, I'm originally from the Bay Area. Um, Actually, I used to live right by Frank, and I was raised
Well, no
in
wonder you
Sonoma.
moved. No wonder you
Yeah,
moved. That's
it was his mom selling us real estate. No, I'm kidding.
yeah. Awesome.
Uh, but I grew up in Sonoma and then moved to Seattle and then moved here.
All right. So you're listening to the right episode, and I'm looking at my little note card here, and if I got this right, and correct me if I say something that's not accurate. October, you had a goose egg, and we've all had those, right? Everybody's had those. And then for this month, and as we're recording this, we're in middle of April of 2025. So here we are in the middle of April. What's your count for this month or last
So
month?
four units at 2.8 mil.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
And is that for this month or last month?
That's for this month. I have one funding today. They've already signed. That's my fourth one. I was gonna have five, but they canceled the property and found another property. So that's gonna roll to next month.
The nerve of those guys.
I know.
Yeah, and how about last month?
So last month I did two units. So I'm building as I
I get it.
go.
No, I get it.
And I
So
did a
you
mill, two units for a mill.
all right? So you've gone from zero to two last month. This month four, almost
Correct.
five, but they changed properties. Um, so let me tell you something, brother. Going from here, let me ask another question first. So, like, I don't know, like last year, how many units did you average per month? Like, if we,
Yeah. Last year was horrible. I pretty much did zero, one, zero, zero, one. It was a bad year.
yeah, I
Um,
got it, I get it. So, so what's the main thing that moved the needle for you?
you guys,
And I appreciate the kind
honest.
words, but so here,
No,
let me
okay,
here. I got a better question. I got a better question,
okay,
and I appreciate the accolades. I do.
yeah.
And I'll send you that 100 that I promised you if you did that. So no.
Well,
So what is it what does a typical day look like for you today versus compared to before? Like if I came and watched you last year and then I watched you yesterday, what's different?
okay. So last year I had no direction. I've been doing this for 5 years as retail. Prior to that, I was wholesale. So when I got into this, I fell into a niche and got some realtors. Did pretty good until 3 years ago when the rates went up. And 3 years ago, just like hit a wall. They closed my branch. They closed all the branches. I was at Finance of America.
What was it primarily refi situation?
No, I had a lot of realtors.
Okay.
I was doing pretty good. I was doing 5 to 6 units a month and managing. And, I had 15 loan officers. And when the rates jumped up, Finance America called and said, we're closing all our retail.
Oh,
So then I was kind of like lost. I was trying to find a direction, didn't really know how to market because I came from wholesale as a different type of marketing.
sure.
Uh, I tried a couple different coaching programs that just didn't work out. And but it did work out because I was more open minded to learning.
Hmm.
And I saw your guys' email for the morning breakfast club and jumped on those. And I told my wife I'm signing up for that, and it's been a game changer. I mean, and the reason what's different now that I'm doing that I didn't do before is I actually have a schedule that I follow,
So
and
kind of walk us through that a little bit. Um So when you say a schedule, like give me an example of what, like on your morning or your afternoon, or what's different about your schedule specifically?
Okay, I'll start out by telling you I had zero schedule before. I would wake
Yeah,
up and just do wherever the day led me,
yeah.
And so now I wake up, I get up at 4:30 every morning and get my coffee. Then even personal stuff like I clean up the dog poop every day, every morning, and then I get ready. Then I jump on the breakfast club. Then I get on my call stars Monday through Thursday, and
What time is and again you're on West Coast, so
West
local
Coast time.
time.
Okay,
What time do you do that on your local time?
9 o'clock is call stars.
So 9 a.m. And just in case somebody's brand new, explain what Call Stars is.
So call stars, it's great. You basically get your list of contacts. Every day is different. Monday is you're calling new realtors and your top 40 agents, and then Tuesdays you're calling your you're doing your updates. So you're updating your you know deals
Like
that
the
are in contract.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Wednesday is your past clients. Thursday is your pre-approved and looking. And then Friday's free. So Friday's free to work on whatever you want to work on your business. And, I'll work on social media, stuff like that. And I'll go out
Yep.
with
Hmm.
people, do my coffee appointments. So call stars were on Mondays, you're calling realtors trying to make coffee appointments for the week, which I try to do for Friday. And you're on Zoom with everybody else that's participating in call stars, but you're muted. So you make your calls. They can see, you have an accountability there because
So
people.
you get the energy of
Yeah,
the you get the energy of
yeah,
the group. Everybody's like
yeah.
it's easier to push through it when you see everybody else doing it too. It's
Right,
I
right.
just it's kind of like bike riding with a group. You know, you go faster,
Absolutely.
easier, when you're with a group than if you're trying to do it solo. All right. So you start your
Absolutely.
morning off early in the morning to have your Frank time early in the morning, get your head
Right.
going. And then 9 o'clock local time, you start your outbound prospecting. And you do that for how many hours do you do that
2
for?
hours.
2 hours.
Two
All right.
hours, and sometimes I'll go past. I'll do like if I get interrupted during the calls. I'll I want to make sure to make all my calls, so I'll stay on a little longer
It
and do it.
is that one activity is that one activity brought you in more business than any other one single
Absolutely,
thing? Yeah.
absolutely. I've gone on several coffee appointments, and every one of those realtors is sending me leads. So
Yeah.
that's been a game changer because it's really helped me start to develop more business. Not just count on the few realtors I already had.
What do you say to we hear this all the time. Not all the time. We hear this sometimes. And actually I don't hear this. I see marketing against it, right? So I see people trying to sell a widget and they'll go, "Well, stop chasing realtors and stop begging for
Yeah,
business." How do you respond to something like that?
it's it's organic. It's the best way to develop your business because one, it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
You call them. I get great response from realtors. Sure you get hung up on here and there, but the ones you don't want to work with those anyway. If they're going to be rude.
Yeah.
The nice realtors are they'll be nice to you on the phone and usually will meet with you. And I have the best luck with those. So
Yeah.
um,
But hey, there's no luck there, brother. You're making it happen. So good for you, man.
true. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
All right, so you do that for the first 2 hours. Then what?
Then I work on my loans. So after the calls, I'll work on my loans. And then um, I have that's pretty much it. Once I work on all my loans, then I'm pretty much done. So I've done everything that I feel I was supposed to do, and
So
you know,
then what? All right, so you prospect for 2 hours,
yeah,
and then you work on loan stuff, right? The business
right.
that came in. When do you like when somebody sends you a referral? Do you have a certain time of day that, hey, I call all my referrals at this time, or do you call them as they come in, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so my future schedule will be because I don't get enough yet to um, have a schedule, so I'll call them right away.
Yeah, yeah,
but my future plans are to go 2 to 4 on my leads coming in.
So
I
what would you
mean,
do? Would you have, because we all,
I,
we always hear this thing, which I totally believe it,
hmm
speed to lead. That the sooner I touch that referral, like we all know, what is that number? 70, I think it's 79% of all people that close a loan close it, or all people that get a loan get the loan from the first loan officer they talk to. I think it's 79%. So it's a high percentage. So when we get a referral, I believe in calling them back like really quick. So if we put it in our schedule, what would it be something where, like, I don't know, loan officer assistant Bob or loan officer assistant Lisa would call that person and say, "Hey, Frank's looking forward to talking to you. Would 2 o'clock at 2 o'clock this afternoon? Let's schedule a 30-minute conversation with you and Frank, like that kind of thing." So they're still being touched real quickly.
yeah, that's a
Set the
great
appointment.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. My realtors are pretty good about, telling them, hey, you're working with this guy because we've worked together for years, and you know he'll get it
How
done.
did you, how'd you get
So
the agents to give? Did you teach the agents how to refer to you, or do you just like the ones
I
that's high producers
partly,
and took?
yeah, partly. I've tell them exactly what I want them to say. I have a script, um, and I like them to introduce me on email, and then I'll call the client, right away usually, because like I said, um,
So
but a
wait,
lot of
but
times
wait a
they'll,
second. So when you taught them how to refer to you,
uh-huh.
when did you do that? So like if I'm the listing agent and we just met and you say, "Hey Carl, man, I'd like to work with you and here's why," and I go, "Okay, sure, man. I'll send you my next one." When do you tell me? When do you teach me how to refer you?
I'll send them a sample email and I'll say I like to be referred this way, but um, works the best with my team. I tell them, with my
Okay,
team,
okay,
and they follow it. They go okay. I usually don't get pushback.
yeah,
Once in a while they'll forget and they'll just send a group text and say, hey,
yeah.
but um, some of my, I do kind of do the same thing when people tell me something. Sometimes I'll forget and just do it my way. But they pretty much will follow what I say. But a lot of times the people only want to be contacted at a certain time because they're on a break, or so a lot of times my realtor will say, "Hey, call this person at
During
11."
lunch or
Yeah,
after they get off
so
work
I'll
or
make time and do it. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um,
Midnight. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm in Vegas, so yeah, a lot of people get off at midnight here. But
You know what? That's a great, I never thought about that. That's a
yeah,
great yeah, that's a great point that you probably have a very unusual, I don't know if the word most applies, but maybe
yeah,
most people are working 4 p.m. to midnight as opposed to 9 to 5 kind of thing.
exactly.
So that's
Yeah,
very interesting. I never
I've
thought about that.
I've
Which would
actually had
actually be an
clients.
advantage because it's easier to get them on the phone and get them,
True.
so they're free during the daytime. So that's very
That's true.
interesting.
I've called them at like 9 o'clock and they're sleeping. They'll
Yeah,
answer.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could see
So
that.
yeah, it's unique.
So, what was the what was the biggest obstacle or roadblock or mindset shift or whatever that thing was, like when you're kind of got a little bit of a flat tire and you're like, man, this I got to get this working for me, and
Hmm.
then you started doing it. What was the biggest roadblock or momentum shift that you had, like when you started the process? What did you have to overcome?
Well, the call reluctance, of course. I mean, that's everybody has, not everybody, but most people have it.
Yeah,
And
they do. Everybody has
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody has it. Some just let it keep them from getting what they want, and
right.
others feel the fear and do it anyway. Is that kind of like you feel the fear and do it anyway? Is that
Yeah. So what happened with me, you have to have a big enough why. I mean, to really do it. That's the key. Um, I did my we were buried in debt. We're working, digging our way out of it now, but That, our own debt, plus my dad had lost his job, and him and my parents can't pay their bills, and I want to help him. So, he's 80. I mean, where's he going to get a job? I was going to hire him as my LOA, but he doesn't want to do it. But so I'm joking. But
No, I get it. I get it. I get
yeah,
it. I get it.
but
Yeah,
but
and
honestly, that why really pushed me, and
yeah.
is what got me to sign up with you guys, and also to push through the calls and push through the stuff I didn't want to do. But I'm telling you, if you do it, it works. The system works. It's
So I man, there's a great message there. It's like, you have to want the results more than you don't want the process. Because my suspicion is all of us would rather be at the beach, in the
right.
mountains, at Disney, watching a ball game, with the kids, with the grandkids, holding hands on the beach. Like all of us would rather be doing something else. For sure, almost all of us, rather than if the
Yeah,
if things. I don't want to go down a bunny trail, but as long as things are okay at home, most of us would
yeah,
rather be home or with our buddies or something like that, rather than working. And so we have to want the results of our activity more than, like, you're either going to get the hardships or you're going to get the results, and it's which one hurts more.
right.
And so good
Well,
for
I've
you.
been on this earth long enough to know that you have to put in the work
Yeah.
to get to be able to be on the beach and do that kind of stuff. You got to get through the hardships and get through
Yeah.
it.
What's that old cliche? Do what most people won't do now, and you'll be able to do what most people can't do, you know, 3 months
That's
from
true.
now, kind of
Yeah,
thing. So, yeah,
yeah.
a lot of
It's
truth in
already
that.
starting to show. I mean, I was doing zero last year, zero, and nothing's changed in the market, except actually, the market's worse than it was last year right
Mm,
now. And the difference is, I'm making the calls, doing it daily. Sometimes I'll push myself and do more calls,
good
and
for you, man.
when I'm not on Call Stars.
Well, Frank, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, man. I'm just telling you.
Thank
So,
you.
hey, let me ask you, what's your goal for like the next 90 days? Like, where are we going?
I want to consistently do 7 loans a month, and then I can hire. That's my goal. I got to hit 7 loans a month consistent, where I can hire an LOA, and then you know, um,
What do you think is there anything different that you're doing to get to seven, or is it just continuing that because you're growing? Is it just continuing doing the process you're doing now, or is there something else
yeah,
you think needs to be added?
I'm just calling more realtors. I have more. I've broken out my call list to like to I call one Call Stars, and I call one After Call Stars, and I call so I'm doing a little more, adding more
More prospecting.
daily. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
So
what's your message to a loan officer who's currently, like, that's at the one a month, and or zero then one then zero then one and maybe two and then zero and then one, like what's your what do you say to that person who right now is listening to this and thinking, boy, that I going to two and then going to four and the month after that's looking even better, and that could never be me. What would you say to that person?
I would say one, just you are what you believe, right? So if you
Mm,
believe that, that's how it's going to be. But I would say if you want to improve, just do the activities that'll help you improve. Don't stay in a rut. You have to want it. You have to, like, it goes back to that why. You have to have a good why. If you're comfortable with 0 and 1, 0 and 1, then stay there. But otherwise, I mean, this group. My wife hears you guys from the other room. She's like, "That's the best group you've ever joined." So she loves listening to you guys.
well,
And so do
good.
I. In the morning, it's very inspiring. And that's why. Um,
Yeah.
But I would say just get with a group like MMA and make it happen, but
Yeah.
focus on your why. Like, why do you need it? Why do you need more money? Why do you need more loans?
What's the is there anything that you feel that's holding you back at this moment, or is it just simply just simply a continuation of the journey?
It's just continuation of a journey. I get the call reluctance, and then I have to push myself through it. And the way I push myself through it is I just dial the phone. I have a dialer, and I just hit the button, and I'm like, I do it blindly, and it just rings, and I'm like, okay, now I got to do it. And
like
then
a power dialer?
power dialer, yeah,
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So, if somebody's new here, kind of explain what a power dialer is. So you say the power dialer is really, helps you push through the call reluctance. What is a power dialer?
So my CRM has a dialer built in, and I don't know if they have them separate or if you have to have um, the CRM, but
I've seen it both ways.
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. So basically, you just put on a headset, plug it in, you upload your list, to the power dialer, and you just hit a button, and it starts dialing down the list. And when you get somebody's voicemail, there's actually a button that says voicemail. You hit that, and it leaves them a pre-recorded voicemail that you made earlier. And so you can really go through them quick,
And
and
so if they answer, you have a live
right,
conversation.
right.
And if it's a voicemail, you push a button and it says whatever you would normally say on a voicemail
Yeah.
and just dials the next one. Yeah, I always, for me, call reluctance really happens like from I hang up from one call until picking up the next call. That
Oh,
period of time is
yeah.
is when my call reluctance comes in, where I find like with a power dialer, where as soon as it finishes one call, it just immediately starts calling the
Yeah,
next.
it
Like
does.
there's no time for that call reluctance
Yeah.
to enter in.
It,
So,
as soon as sometimes I forget that. No, I'll hang up and then, oh, and it starts dialing. And I'm like,
oh
okay, on to
crap, here comes the next one. But it's
yeah.
really a very productive thing. So,
Well, you can get through 20 calls in 40 minutes, maybe, I
yeah.
mean, you really crank through them.
Yeah, you know
And
what I think? You know what I think happens on some. You know what I think really happens with all this process is we think we're like you're and dude. And when I say you, I mean me too. So I just want to
sure.
clarify that. But like in your case, where like last year, um, when you're didn't have a whole lot of closings going on. I know for me, when I was in that situation, it would be, I think I'm actually prospecting, but I don't know what real prospect, or I didn't know what real prospecting looked like. And so I think one of the biggest things for me is learning what does real prospecting look like, not what I thought it looked like. I thought if you'd asked, I bet if I'd have asked you last March and said, "Hey man, are you prospecting?" Yeah, Carl, I'm prospecting every day, but we don't know what it really like. We don't know what real
Yeah.
prospecting looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That does make sense. And honestly, I didn't know how to prospect with
Mm,
realtors. I knew how to prospect as an AE because I would walk into loan officers' offices, and I knew how to do it. I did it for 20 years. So, um,
yeah,
but for realtors, I didn't know how to, people would say, "Oh, go to their offices and talk to realtors," but
yeah,
now you go there, nobody's there. So I,
yeah.
I, I wasn't sure like how to do it, Um, and I got another thing. A friend of mine, he's a realtor. He gave me a list of 15,000 realtors here in Vegas, and then I worked those through Redder and found the high producing ones and highlighted them. And I mean, it
So
was a
you
lot of
went
work.
so you got the list of all the agents and then you ran them
Right,
through a system, find out
right,
who the qualified ones are, the ones that actually got business to refer to you.
exactly.
All right. And then
Yeah, 8 or more. I did the 8 or more. Uh,
okay.
Whoever closed 8 or more in the last 12 months. And then I uploaded those in pieces because I only got like A through. I don't know, H or something, and I had like 3,000 realtors that closed 8 or more in the last year. That's really all I needed.
That's
And
amazing. You know,
yeah, I
I
still
tell
haven't
you,
gone through
I tell you, to me, that was a game changer.
that.
Being able to, where you can look up and verify people's productions, what they're doing, both real estate agents and loan officers, right? If you're a branch
Right,
manager for
right.
recruiting, like both ways. I mean, to me, that was a game changer because what that really showed me, like what you just said, dude, you had 3,000 in Las Vegas, right?
Right,
And what
right.
that taught me was like, oh, wait a minute. If one doesn't go well, that's one out of 3,000. Hell,
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
could suck and get one out of 500,
yeah,
and that'd be 6 deals a month coming in because I got six referring agents, send me a deal a
yeah,
month.
yeah,
And so that was a freeing experience. Like I always just think I can't lose this one because that's the only one. No, there's
yeah.
thousands of them. Like
And if you think about it, you've got thousands doing 8 a month. There's so much business out
or eight,
there
eight a year, 8 a year.
in a year. Or I'm sorry, a year, 8 a
Yeah,
year.
eight,
But
eight or
still, that
more. So some of them's doing two a month, three a month, 4 a month.
right,
But
right.
on average, at least, give or take about one a month, at least on the buyer side only. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so many of them.
there's so many. That means there's a ton of business out there. So anybody that says there's no business, there is. There's business out there. You just have to go find it.
Yeah,
Turn over rocks.
yeah.
Um, I get, and the other thing too, with that many realtors, yeah, you get some hanging up on you. But if you keep remembering, there's, on to the next because there's more.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of laugh at it now. Like when I get hung up on, it doesn't happen very often. Honestly, most people are nice. In fact, I get a lot of realtors who say, I really respect what you're doing, and then they're nice to me.
Well, that's
Uh,
because that's exactly what they're doing, because that's how they
exactly.
got,
Yep.
to be one of the top agents is doing that exact same activity. So
The
good for
whole
you, man.
problem, Carl, though, now I'm nice to telemarketers, and
Hey, but let me tell you something, buddy. I'm a karma guy.
yeah,
I'm a karma guy. I am. I'm a karma guy. And one thing I've learned is people buy from us how we buy from other people. And it doesn't mean that we go buy all this junk that we don't need. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, yeah, if every time somebody calls me, I go, hey, I need to drop your price by half, or I'm going to go somewhere else, then I can expect that exact same thing when my clients call me. So
right,
I don't know. It's
yeah,
it's just a funny thing that I found. So good for you,
yeah,
man. Good for you.
yeah, yeah. We're kind of easily sold to because of that.
The greatest salespeople are.
They are, yeah.
'Cause, good salespeople think sales is a good thing, and
Hmm.
bad salespeople think sales is a bad thing.
Right.
So anyway, I just getting off on a little bunny trail there. So
Yeah.
hey, let me ask you one more thing here, and I know we're a little up on time here. So when you're calling these agents to work with you,
Hmm.
what's your main hook? Like, how do you like, hey, refer me your
I
business because
well, I use your script, and I don't say I call them, and I use the script, and y- it's actually I get people who say, "Wow, thank you," because I compliment them, and then we just start talking. At that point I don't really use a script. We just break into a talk, and I guess that's like an instant coffee, right?
yeah,
I guess
uh-huh.
that's what you call
Hmm.
instant coffee, and it happened today, and the lady had her guard up, and then when we were talking, I said, "You're one of the top agents, and I'd love to hear more about how you do it." And then she kind of softened up, and she was like, "Oh, thanks," and then it turned into a nice conversation. And she asked me, "Well, what are your niches?" And I said, "Well, I'm known for this and that, And I said, "What about you?" And I kind of turned the question back on her, like, what are you known for? Stuff like that, just trying to find out more
Yeah,
about her.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, yeah,
but
which is a brilliant thing, by the way. I want to make sure everybody caught that. So you're asking them to tell you about them,
hmm
asking about you just to be polite, right? They
yeah,
go, "Oh, Frank, how about you?" Well, I do this and this. Hey, but let me ask you something else. And you go right back to them, right? So very, very smart how
yeah.
you did that.
People are flattered. They love to talk about themselves. So
Yeah,
as long as you remember that,
yeah.
have more ears and less mouth.
Yeah.
right?
And understanding that these people, you're not blowing smoke,
Hmm.
in their area, because these are the top agents in your
Right.
area, and they're worthy of being they they
Absolutely.
they're worthy of being interesting as far as their business goes. So as yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you call somebody
And
that's closed one deal last year and said, "Boy, you're amazing," they're like, "Who said
what are you
that?"
talking
Yeah,
about?
who are you
Yeah, it's
talking about?
almost
Right.
like a BS thing. Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's not almost like a BS. It is a BS
It
thing.
is a
So
BS thing. Yeah.
so what I'm hearing from you is like you're just having genuine conversations with top producers,
Yeah.
asking them to tell you about how
And
they
and
became
you
a top producer.
and you need to know because I was talking to one real estate agent, and she's like, you know what, because I was asking her questions, I would have been, if I wasn't asking her questions, I would have been going after her as an agent. But since I was asking her questions, she's telling me, oh, you know what, I only work with cash buyers, and that wasn't to blow me off. She was just telling me that's her business. And she still calls me. She goes, I get a deal here and there, and she does call me with deals. And
Okay.
we never did meet. She just calls me, and she's from New York, pretty funny lady, but I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't asking her questions, and I would have been asking her for more business, and
Hmm.
you know, it
Hey,
wouldn't
so
have worked.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So we started at 0,
Uh-huh.
we got to 2, then we got to 4.
Right.
So again, we're April 14th as we're actually recording this.
And
I'm going to timestamp this. When's and you said you want to hit 7,
right.
and you said you want to hit it regularly.
Hmm.
So when are we going to have at least 3 months in a row that's 7 or higher?
August.
How long do you think it'll take you?
So August. I think August I'll have three in a row. So July, June, July, August. Yeah. So we're April, May, June. So it's happening. I've got a ton of last month. I've got 17 prequels, or not prequels, leads, where I was getting zero before, maybe one a month.
Wait, let me get that again. So you were getting like 0 to 1 referrals per month.
Right.
Last month you got 17 referrals.
Yes.
Dude, good for
It
you,
was
man.
incredible. And I'm using the tracker, the lead tracker,
Dude, good for you, brother.
always open on my computer, and I put everybody on there. You
And
know.
and just for clarification, there's a enormous difference between 17 leads and 17 referrals.
Right.
Yeah, because we can get 1,700 leads off of Facebook, but 17
Oh,
referrals
yeah.
actually close. So good for you,
These
man.
are referrals. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
I caught that. I'll just
Yeah.
make sure for our listeners,
And
so
and also
yeah.
I was talking to Teresa, and I actually really started in November. So she said I paid November 1st and started in November. So I haven't really been doing it that long. Um, so
Good for you, man.
it happened.
How many referrals do you think you need to close 7 units? Like what, like using your matrix? And I know you're just getting started with all this, but
Yeah.
how many referrals do you think you'll need to close 7?
Well, I mean, looking at the fallout, I've had some fallout because one guy's getting divorced or this and that, the typical
Yeah,
stuff. Um, Probably need to hit 20 to 25, maybe. I
that would
would,
be my guess. That would be
yeah,
my I would estimate
yeah.
that same thing. And
I
so
haven't been there yet recently, so I don't know, and I've never tracked.
but I tell you though, at 17, I think you're really close. And
I
thinking that, hey, I went from 0 to 2 to 4, and I think I'll have my I think June, which is what, April, which is a month and a half from now, I expect to have my first 7 closings. Dude, I think you're on track to doing it too. I really do.
think you're
I think
right. Yeah,
having 17 referrals, I mean, you're almost there.
yeah,
So good for you,
yeah.
man.
Thank you.
Brother,
Yeah, and then you hit that chicken or egg thing. Like, at what point do I hire? Because you don't want to backslide. So
uh, I have to. So when do you hire help? That's the thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Frank, I have to tell you, man, there's something magical about hiring that first person.
Mhm.
Cause now, you said something earlier on our conversation here is like you need an accountability buddy. Accountability buddy is a good thing,
Yeah.
which is what the calls are. Let me tell you the best accountability buddy in the world. it's somebody that's waiting for their paycheck,
Yeah.
and you're that person. You're
Yeah.
that person they're waiting on, and they're counting on you to help. You're helping them feed their family, right? They're
Right.
helping you close more loans, but they're counting on you
They're
to,
looking at you. Yeah.
yeah. And man, I mean, to me, that's yeah, that can be a major motivating factor.
It is. Yeah.
It is, yeah, because it's kind of like, all right, now I gotta,
Well, I've had that experience from when I was a manager. So, we've been through that where
yeah,
we'll hire another processor. Well, do we need another one?
yeah,
And you have to bring in the business to,
yeah,
bring in more LOs,
yeah.
you know.
I'd say, yeah, you have a processor now.
Yeah, I have a contract processor that I
Okay,
use.
cool. I
Yeah.
love contract processor.
Yeah.
I'd say, I'd probably start placing the ad now.
Really.
Yeah. Didn't Don't hire
I'm meeting
now.
with I'm meeting with one on Thursday in LOA.
Okay, I like that. I
Yeah.
would start the looking process now, just so like in June when you go, all right, dude, I got my seven and I got seven more scheduled for July. Gee, I think I'll
Right.
start looking. I mean, it might take a month to find one. And
Right.
I'd start looking to fill the bench, not fill the employee, but I'd start the process of looking, and because they're likely working somewhere else for
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
say, hey, well, I think my position is going to be opening up here in about 30 days. Is it if they're a good match, is it okay? And frankly, if you might find the perfect person, you might pull the trigger a little earlier,
That's
you know,
true.
trusting in the
Yeah.
process and trusting, that you're going to continue that you're going to continue prospecting. So good for you, man.
That's yeah.
Hey, anything I should have asked you today that I didn't?
Not really. I offered some extra information that you didn't ask me, so I think we covered it.
Oh no, yeah, the good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
like having these real conversations, because you always like anytime I do an episode like this, I'm always trying to think the person that's listening and they're going, yeah, but it works for Frank, but it won't work for me. Uh,
Yeah, but Carl, I've been doing this 30 years. 30 years. I was an LO 5 years before I was an AE. Then I was an AE. I was a countrywide. That's what I was, I
great
visited all the,
company.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And, and I still needed it after 30 years, and it's helped me. So if you really need it, or if you're happy doing 0 or 1 a month, stay doing 0 or 1. But if you want to grow, I would highly recommend doing MMA. I mean, MMA, honestly, and it's funny because I was introduced to you guys 5 years ago by my old manager, and but at the time I had just gotten in, so I didn't really realize the importance. But looking back, I wish I had done it then, But
Who
hey,
knows?
it's the right time. So
Yeah, timing is a wonderful thing. It always happens at the right time, and maybe the motivation, or maybe you. I love your story about your wine with your father, and maybe that why story wouldn't have been there, and maybe
that
yeah,
really drove me. Really drove me.
I can see it when you talk about that part, man. I
Yeah,
get that. That's yeah, good for you, man.
yeah.
I think that's I love stories when our parents help us out at a stage
Right.
of life, and then when we can help our parents out, I think it's a beautiful thing, man. I really do.
That's
So
what it's about.
good for you, man. Good for you.
Oh,
Hey, and
right.
let me tell you something. Our kids. I don't know if you have any. Do you have any kids by chance?
I've got 4 boys. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So let me tell you something. Our kids watch how we take care of our parents,
that's
and
true.
boy, I tell you, that's
That's true.
yeah, I'll never forget that. So yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
2 of my boys live with them, so
yeah.
they do. Because
Well,
my parents have 2 extra rooms, so my older boys are 34 and 33. They live
nice,
there too.
nice,
So yeah,
nice. I think that's a special thing too. So,
it
good for you, man. Well, brother, I appreciate you being on here. Thanks for the episode. For our listeners, hey, thanks for being a part of the podcast. You're the reasons why this is the number one downloaded podcast in America today for loan officers. Thanks to you guys for sharing it, and thanks for all the positive reviews. I really appreciate it. So be sure to share with your favorite loan officer. They'll thank you. I'll thank you. And And appreciate letting us being a part of your day. So, all right, that's it. We'll see you on the next episode, Loan Officer Freedom. And if I got this right, a quick message from Great Kristen should pop up magically on this podcast. So she does a much better job of it than I do. So thanks again, Frank. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Carl.